Good evening, fellow patrons. In today's video, I'm breaking down the strategy that will absolutely give you the greatest chance of success in beating the hardcore version of Caltheris at round 100 in Astra Malorum.
Yes! Yeah! Die! And he is no longer with us.
Diving into the preload essentials, I want to touch on something that a lot of people do not consider in this boss fight, and that would be range. This is a common build I see a lot of people using for the Jaeger. The muzzle spread drastically reduces hipfire spread and allows you to equip rapid fire over the steady aim laser. But if you take a look at the stats, the rapid fire attachment only gives you a 4% bump, which is not that impactful at all. I want you to take a close look at the damage range and how drastic the fall off in damage is. After 37 meters, your damage drops by 33%, which is a huge decrease in damage output. So I decided to hop into Mars Survival with a rangefinder to see the various ranges of common spots I like to shoot Caltheris at. Take note of the rangefinder values as I move around the map. Most of the values are in the high 30s and mid to low 40s, so you will definitely experience that 33% damage fall off with that build. So now let's switch the muzzle spread for the monolithic suppressor and switch the rapid fire for the stable range laser. The damage range is increased to 46 meters before falling off, so this build will essentially be able to be shot from almost anywhere on the map, and you will not experience any damage fall off. The biggest difference in the hardcore version of this boss fight and the standard version is that the armor strength of Caltheris is increased exponentially. She's basically like an impenetrable house of rocks, and popping a free fire or a score streak like the Death Machine or War Machine is not going to bail you out. This Jaeger build is a must-have because you will need a pistol to activate equivalent exchange from Quick Revive if you go down. To be successful in this fight, you need rangy weapons with good handling and mobility. I went into the boss fight with this version of the Breacher, but in my match I felt like it underperformed as I was missing a lot of shots from the tac laser position. If you do load in with the Breacher, make sure to equip the Dead Draw minor augment from Deadshot, as this will be needed to hit Caltheris from a distance. Here are some other solid builds I would recommend. All of these builds have exceptional range and are mobility focused. The ease of firing from the hip without decreasing your movement speed is very noticeable when using the MK78 and Akita build. Prior to loading in, you will want to make sure you are maxed out on your field upgrade charge, your gobblegums, and ammo mods. Do not forget to place a C4 on the full power up before you travel to Mars. The extra field upgrade charge is huge for the last two phases. Because Caltheris is built like a fortress, I would equip the two guns you chose to go alongside the LGM with Shatter Blast. Another fun treat you get to experience in this round 100 boss fight is that the toxic mist you see in the final stage of phase 1 remains for the entire fight from that point forward. Once you enter the mist, your HP is immediately reduced to 175 HP, so the light mend overcharge really doesn't ever have a chance to kick in. In retrospect, I think going in with a Disciple Injection is the smartest play. None of the score streaks really do any significant damage to Caltheris, as you will see later on in the video, but the Disciple Injection can be essentially used as a get-out-of-jail-free card if you find yourself in a dire situation. Eternal perks are an obvious essential, so be sure to be hitting those TED trials on the way to 100. Unfortunately, the match I ended up beating Caltheris at round 100, OBS Studio did not capture any of my audio. Luckily, I have footage from my other attempts with the audio, so I will be breaking down the strategy from those captures for the first 3 phases, so you guys can actually listen to something other than my voice. But I will show the final phase from the match where I was able to get the job done, so the needle will be from that actual gameplay. So the first phase is nothing to be worried about. All you really need to be cognizant of is that you do not detonate the C4 prematurely by pushing the reload button too quickly. I intentionally made an effort to use only the LGM during this phase since you never have to reload it. Just keep moving to each of the 4 corners of the arena and avoid the various air raids Caltheris throws at you, and you'll be fine. To ensure you aren't swarmed by zombies when you're activating the fire sequence, it's best to just stop shooting the zombies and train them in the back of the arena near where the Gobblegum machine is on Mars Survival until the top platform is free of zombies, then make a break to the altar to activate the fire sequence. The second phase is where you really start to notice the increase in Caltheris' armor strength. Luckily, the rock sheath throws are still not armed with the toxic mist, so this phase is still extremely manageable in my opinion. With the recent buff to the LGM, you can definitely rely almost exclusively on the Wonder Weapon to carry you through this phase. Protect that free power charge by any means necessary. Do not reload unless you absolutely have to. Another quick tip I wanted to mention is that when you are grinding your way through the 100 rounds to get to this fight, which I will have a separate video on, how to quickly complete the 100 rounds, I would actually recommend not equipping either Equivalent Exchange or Dying Wish. You want to make sure you have the maximum amount of uses for these augments heading into this fight. If you go down, use a self-revive, as they are often replenished when completing a TED task. Dying Wish is helpful if you have used all 3 of your Equivalent Exchanges and still have self-revives left to burn. Saving and quitting is the best way to practice this fight efficiently. The moment you finish the second phase, I would highly recommend you pause your game and think about what you are going to do in this phase, particularly in the moments when Caltheris is evolving into the Ascendant, because it is going to get next level hectic and you're going to be immediately overwhelmed if you don't have a game plan. So Treyarch released patch notes on Thursday, which they specifically stated they addressed an issue that prevented Caltheris from being slowed by toxic growth, which I thought sounded promising. So I decided to load in with 2 charges and deploy them right when she spawns in. It's important to note that you have 40 seconds, yes I timed it, from when you first finish the second phase to when the Ascendant spawns in for the third phase. This is extremely important when it comes to positioning yourself the moment Caltheris spawns in. It is imperative that you are up near the altar when she spawns in, because you want to make a break for the back corner to use as a brief safe zone. But staying near the top of the stairs is difficult because zombies will flood this area during this intermission period. So I set a timer for 30 seconds and then ran around the bottom level of the arena to keep the zombies away from the upper level. After this 30 seconds was up, I then deployed my toxic growth and made my way back up to the altar. As you'll see in this gameplay, the 2 growths don't do jack at slowing Caltheris' movement whatsoever. I mean, I probably would have been better off if I had Mr. Peaks do a little dance routine or something, then deploy toxic growth. So that being said, spawn in with a frenzied guard charged and do not quit until you find yourself in a pinch. So this run was going extremely smoothly up until this point. With the Environmentalist Minor Augment, you can slide through the Toxic Mist to avoid depleting your HP. That's from PhD Slider, or PhD Flopper. I also like to seek refuge in the corners of the map, because if you stand behind the backmost pillar, it will shield you from the boulder Caltheris throws at you. Make sure you are behind the one in the back, because the spread of the Toxic Mist is still large enough to hurt you if you are standing behind the front one.
Hello?
And goodbye to anyone standing in John Cena's way when he takes on 6 men in a Steel King Shoots and Ladders match at WWE Super Slam. Order now.
Yep, just my luck. I pop his shields up, and of course, the moment I turn around on the Stairway of Death to keep tabs on Caltheris, she is in the process of doing a Super Slam. Very annoying, but it is what it is. So if you do go down, it's the time to be real with yourself. If you're sweating and hanging on by a thread, it's probably best if you use a self-revive and immediately save and quit. Just load back in, pass around, and run it back. It's hard getting into a rhythm after hopping into a boss fight at round 100, so there is no reason to rush in and getting out of last stand, especially if you have all the eternal perks. If you do decide to continue, start targeting Caltheris and chop away at her armor. If Equivalent Exchange has not activated at the beginning of your last mag, hold your horses and track down a zombie to activate the ammo mod. Oh boy, here's the oh so powerful death machine being a bum and doing nothing whatsoever to aid me in the field of battle. Appreciate it.
Big dog, you're supposed to be our #1.
Come on now.
And you're playing like a bum.
Alrighty, final phase time. Honestly, I think this phase is easier than the third phase, as Caltheris seems to throw less rocks. But like we did after phase 2, I would pause your game and think about what you are needing to do before Caltheris spawns in. If you are low and in need of a field upgrade charge, this is the time to pop raindrops. Do not wait to pop this nightmare of a gobblegum. You will not have time to pop it during the final phase. It's just not going to happen. So pop it as close to you can as to Calthera spawning in. And essentially, it's the same strategy we went through in the third phase. Essentially, dodge rocks and shoot bullets. I don't know if I suddenly forgot how to play zombies for like 20 seconds, but in a second, you'll see I go from having 2 equivalent exchange charges and a self-revive to having 0. I don't know what happened. I really don't. Like, really confident going into this phase. Get trapped in this corner, which is almost as scary as the death staircase. Okay. Yep. Get out of there, please. Nope. Yeah, so if I remember correctly, I go back to that corner because I didn't see him throw that first rock, and I thought this was an open corner, but it wasn't. I thought it was, the rock was a little bit towards the platform, and it's right there, and that drives me to that corner, and yeah, that's gonna be, I think I use a self-revive here, because I'm not sure if I want to continue or not. And all right, ooh, time to shoot him. Nope, and I get body slammed. So just like that, I had 2 equivalent exchanges and a self-revive, and poof, they're gone. Long uphill battle from here, but I stick with it. Every time I start the final phase of this hardcore boss fight, I somewhat revert to how I'd play in the regular mode, where you try to inflict as much damage as possible while either your field upgrade or power-ups are active, but you really can't afford to be too aggressive like how I was to start off this finals phase. I should have went about my business exactly how I went about it in the third phase. Water Catheris down with the LGM1 and focus on movement rather than DPS. Overall, I think this loadout and strategy gives anyone the best chance of beating this hardcore boss fight. I mean, the fact that I played that poorly in the final phase and still pulled out the dub says a lot. Definitely relieved I completed this round 100 boss fight, but not super enthused by my performance. I'm sure I'll run it back at some point. The SG-12 is absolutely disgusting. I've already prestiged it, and wow, it's insane. And I think it could absolutely terrorize her. I'll be uploading my complete round 100 strategy for Astra Malorum next, and I think I finally have it perfected. I'm able to deal with Oscar effectively, even if you can't trap him, and pass rounds extremely quickly. So if you are wanting to conquer round 100 in outer space, please sub to the channel for more videos like this. Appreciate you guys watching. JJet out.